All right, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to another and exciting chapter, our weekly continuing series on Game Master community stuff. Here's some, what is this, oolong tea for the working man. Before I get into Reddit, which is usually where we start, I always exhort folks, if you have things you'd like to share, stuff you've seen that's interesting, stuff you've made, anything at all, send it our way so we can check it out. The Stochastic Agencies gives the TGIF. Oh, look in there. I switched up the chat now. Got a little bit of a background. Hopefully that helps. I'm not super keen on the formatting of the chat, but I'm doing what I can with the built-in tools without having to mess with it too much. So we'll see how that goes. But before I get to there, I wanted to share and look at something that our very own community member Brian Smith has made. That is a rules light horror game called Slash. I haven't looked at this as usual. It's very small. I believe it's only 3 pages, including this title page. I should have probably done this before, but I will pick out where you can get this on itch and put it into the chat. Before I forget, I'll throw this on screen as well. You can see it coming up in the chat, but I'll put it big for a moment. It's at https:// Brian Smith SMIFF BRYANSMIFF.itch.io//horror-RPG. Look, this is a very slim, trim fighting game, or I shouldn't say fighting game, horror game. I meant fighting in the sense of it being ready to lay down, but it's a horror game. The core mechanics: when attempting an action with the risk of failure, roll a d6 and compare against a difficulty class determined by the GM. Matching or exceeding the difficulty class is a success, rolling glass is a failure. If the action had an obvious physical risk and was failed, the character takes +1 wound. If the action had no obvious physical risk and was failed, the character takes +1 creep. Additional dice can be added before rolling against a DC using a skill or using an item. And the difficulty classes are iffy, which is a 1 to 3, hard 4 to 6, long shot 7 to 10, or damn near impossible at more than 14. Character stats: each character has 1 skill, 1 item, and 1 goal. If the skill can be applied to an attempted action, add a d4 to the roll. If the item can be used in an attempted action, add d4 to the roll. Each item is single use. The character is able to achieve their goal, they add +1 to their rolls for the rest of the game. Work together to generate as many genre-fitting characters as you can before play. 20 is good. Wow, 20. So probably going to be going through a few of these. At the beginning of each scene, players go around the table picking which character they will play. Getting wounds and creep. Failing a particularly risky move may result in a character taking wounds or creep. Each wound applies a -1 penalty to rolls that logically would be affected by the physical injury. The number of creep a character gets makes them more likely to be attacked by the killer. The character achieves their goal, they can clear any accumulated creep or wounds, but not both. Making friends. If 2 characters bond in a scene, their players can decide to attempt to forge a friendship. Friends can reroll any of their roll results that match the strength of the friendship as long as they are both near each other in a scene. Forging a friendship, both players decide on a number between 1 to 6. All the players roll a d6 and count up how many times the chosen number was rolled. This is the strength of the friendship. If the chosen number is not rolled at all, the friendship is not forged and cannot be attempted again during the scene. Making enemies. A character can mark any other character in a scene as an enemy. That marked character immediately gains +1 creep. You, sir, are my enemy. Throwing enemies under the bus. A player may decide to swap their dice roll with a dice roll of their enemy as long as they are both near each other in a scene. That's definitely an interesting mechanic. The killer. The killer is controlled by the GM entirely, lurking around the edges of the story at first before attacking and whittling the characters down to a single survivor. Lurking. All characters in the scene roll a d6. Any ones give the character +2 creep. And then attacking. Assign 3d6 to any characters in the scene. The dice assigned this way determine the difficulty the character must roll to beat. A character being attacked must decide before they roll They want to stay and fight or try and flee. If they choose to fight, if the character rolls a success against the killer's attack, they deal it +1 wound, but die instantly. Oh no. Flee, if the character rolls a success against the killer's attack, they get away, but they gain +2 creep. And then we get to the final showdown. When only one character remains, the dramatic final showdown is set to occur when the survivor is attacked by the killer one last time. They each roll 3d6 against each other. The killer subtracts 1 for each wound it has taken. The survivor adds 1 for each wound or +1 for each creep they have gained. The first to win 3 times is the last one standing. On the story skeleton, what's your name again? 3 scenes. Okay, so this part is basically laying out what presumably what kind of and I think this was made for sort of a one-shot type deal. So that's why it moves quickly. It's just got some easy stuff. Obviously, it's going for this kind of horror type genre where you have one Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees type that's stalking, the sorority full of sorority sisters, or the college dorm, or the sleepaway camp, or whatever, but where there's a lot of innocence in quotes, and then the one killer that has to work their way through killing almost everybody until someone at the end finally kills them, or presumably not. So they're breaking this down further, or Brian's breaking this down further, giving you a skeleton of kind of what this one-shot story might look like. So the first, I guess, part of this, we're going to break it down sort of plot-wise, is kind of what's your name again, and these are the initial scenes that set the stage, the location, the local legends, and allow players to select a handful of characters. No killer attacks will take place here, but it's a good time to fake one. After you do that, you get to the first blood. Any character not selected in previous scenes are unceremoniously murdered as the remaining group settles into a location and begins exploring. We're not alone. As the group splits into smaller groups, the killer begins lurking and attacking at opportune moments. It's worse than we thought. The bodies are stacking up now, and the killer is attacking frequently. And then finally, the final showdown, only one survivor left. This is the climactic ending where the killer wins or the survivor does. And then we get some setting ideas: a campground, an abandoned industrial facility, a remote wilderness, a sleepy town, an ancient catacomb, or a hunting lodge. Ideas for the killer: a mutated human, an alien entity, a demonic hellbeast, a maniacal serial killer, a surprise friend, or a vengeful spirit. And then some setup ideas: plane crash in an ancient forest, summer at a cursed camp town, reunion under weird circumstances, teens breaking into a place to party, or a killer on the loose in the midst of a city. I could really also see this if you wanted to just run an alien type situation. You could clearly flavor this as Alien and the Nostromo, with the first thing with the kind of what's your name again is where they discover the eggs, first blood, the kind of bursting out of the chest burster, and then going on the initial spree, and then finally the final showdown is Ripley at the end. A lot of good stuff in here. I think Brian Smith, excellent job. It's giving you kind of exactly what you need, no more, no less. Easy mechanics. Hexed Agency says a nice little game for sure. Good for in-betweener sessions. Always a fan of horror. Absolutely. Hey, Ian. And yes, Hexed Agency had said A-Line is a good example, but they meant Alien. I caught that. Yep. Only 3 pages. Really good. Clean. Simple. I think it works really well. Good job, Brian Smith. So he had shared this on the forums the other day. Actually, I can switch over here now. There's a look at the itch.io page. Now we can migrate on over. If you'd like to follow at home, I'm on my custom multi-Reddit called RPG Roundup. There's links in the show description if you're somewhere like YouTube where you can pick that out. I'm going to switch to the new tab. And we'll just see what there is. And of course, if folks have stuff that they've discovered outside of this, just shoot it over. Links in the chat might be rough, but you can send me a something. I don't know, a DM, something that YouTube doesn't have DMs. Find me somewhere, send it to me. I'm Hexed Pressman. If you're on Reddit, you can send me something that way. And of course, if you see something that shows up in the Reddit that you think we should look at, then just throw me a line in the chat, and I will try to track it down. Oh, what have we got here? You know what? Something I have to say I'm kind of done with a little bit is the OGL. I don't know if you're the only one, but I feel like I'm exhausted by OGL talk. I know Wizards has updated a couple times now. They have new messaging that some people seem to be okay with, some people still have problems with. I think ultimately we know what we need to do, right? I think punish Hasbro as much as you feel the need to support other creators first and foremost, particularly the ones that are independent. And it's feel weird. I know that the Paizo Bros have been maybe I shouldn't say bros. The Paizo folk have been now, of course, rising up this orc kind of thing, but you're swapping one corporate overlord for another. I don't know that I say, yeah, I'm going to jump off of Hasbro to jump on a Paizo. I know that the scales are totally different. And Paizo's not at all big the way Hasbro is big, but I, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Paizo's hasn't been. I think they've been better lately, but I don't know. It's not like they haven't had any issues either. I don't know, just do indie stuff. Support the local individuals and really small companies and let the corporations corporate, which they're gonna do anyway. Ian says, "Whoa, GL." And Shirish says, "You can sing that at the top of your lungs." I can. I mean, I was on TikTok earlier, and there's a lot of good. I said this before. Good kind of RPG and just different voices than you get in say YouTube. At least that I get. All these things with all these algorithms. I think it's interesting to go on a platform where maybe just because I haven't been on there that long, I don't have established, or I get to reestablish and have the algorithm kind of work from scratch. But I found a lot of different voices surface to me than I get in sort of Twitter, or YouTube kind of thing. But it's just everything is this OGL 24/7, and it's like we know it's bad. Do other things, but I guess I don't need the daily from 800 different creators on their current thoughts on the OGL. I need that. What was his name? There was a famous coach of the Minnesota Vikings back in the '90s and or maybe early aughts, and I forget his name. Denny Green, and there's a famous press conference where they were. I think they were playing at the time. This is way back. This must have been. I think this was the year it was the Colts and the Bears in the Super Bowl. And the Bears at one point had the kind of an undefeated streak, and he was coaching. Actually, he wasn't even coaching Minnesota. He was coaching the Cardinals at the time, and they had some big lead against the Bears, and he blew it. And then he had this press conference. Where he had this famous kind of meltdown where he yells like, "They, they were who we thought they were. They were who they thought they were, and we let them off the hook." It was at the time. It was as I don't think internet memes had totally gotten to the point where they are now, but it was something that sound clip, that video clip and soundbite were everywhere, and I kind of feel like that's the Hasbro thing. Hasbro, we knew who they thought they were. Right? They are who we thought they were, and it's just a matter of whether you're going to let them off the hook or not. You know, but I am ready to have. I've made my decisions. I've pretty much all those decisions already been made. I'm ready to move on to other things. Michael Frager says they really miss G Plus. Yeah, G Plus was fun while it lasted. Um, the guy game says Orc and the OGL are not the same thing. No, I wasn't suggesting that they are. Just Orc is their answer to what's happening with the OGL. I haven't even really looked at Orc. I don't know that I'm really interested in it because I don't feel like I'm going to make stuff for Pathfinder, so I don't care. Um, it's all part of the same moment. The same moment in time, and they're sort of trying to do similar things. That's all. Not that they're the same. Ian says that they made the decision 3 years ago and they picked up OSC. Uh, yeah, well, I think OSC. Have they said what they're doing? I don't even want to get down the rabbit holes because OSC is surely what's going to have to address. I don't know. Maybe they have already how they're going to be handling the OGL, but yeah, OSC, your own thing, whatever. I just use. I mean, personally, I just use BX, so it's all. I don't need. I haven't bought anything to use for my own use. I buy things because I think they're cool for the channel to cover and share, and I like to grab things from them. But I haven't used any first. I mean, I guess if I consider myself my own first party, all my stuff is first party. Um, all right. Well, Sky HC points out that Orc is not just for Pathfinder. Yeah, but the OGL wasn't just for. I mean, people were using the OGL for other things too. So it's all a big mess. All a big mess, and I'm not really. I don't think I'm super interested in how these different corporations are going to try to work this stuff out. I mean, in other news, Modifius is. I saw something. I got an email that they're having a partnership, or they're going to either they have or they're going to have with Drive Through to basically have their own DMs guild for Modifius stuff. And it seems slightly better than the DMs guild, just because I think that you don't. I think the one improvement that's coming out of this, in terms of for the folks who are looking for a marketplace, you've got some stuff, but you're concerned that if you do it yourself completely, that you're no one's going to see or buy your things. Right, so they have DM's Guild for D&D. Pathfinder, I think, has something for Pathfinder, and now Modifius is coming out with their own. Oh, so Cassie Agency says it's called 2D20 Worlds, and it's great. But then I look at the breakdown, and they're again, you're losing 50%. Right, you put it on, you put your thing in 2D20 Worlds, and you're getting half whatever you price your thing at. Half of it goes to Drive Through and Modifius. The breakdown, I believe, is 30% Drive Through, 20% Modifius. Now, okay, before folks, I mean, it's something I just kind of look at and just sigh a little bit, but it's not that I don't get it, because similar to the other, I'm assuming, I don't know, I'm not familiar with Pathfinder's version. DM's Guild, one of the things is that you get to, with DM's Guild, you got to use Wizard IP inside there, just part of why I think they kind of lock you in there. And hey, that's a choice, that's fine. The other part was you got to use art, and I think with the Modifius one, you get to use all kinds of art. I don't know in terms of the IP, I have no idea, but you get to use their art. And art is something that costs a lot. If you're gonna go the non public domain route, art costs a lot of money. So I could totally see where saying, hey, 30% of your cost for art, not a big deal. But the thing is, it's in perpetuity though, right? So it's not like 30% until you make a certain amount of money, and then you've kind of paid off the art. You're giving that off for forever, as long as it's on there. And of course, Drive Through's taking, or that's 20% rather, and then Drive Through's taking 30%. So I guess it's great. Personally, I would just take my chances, but at least you get your IP. You keep whatever you made is still yours. So if you're into making stuff for Modifius, I've never actually played a Modifius. Actually, I've never actually read a Modifius. I need to see what quick starts they have available. See what we can read about that. Yes, Stochastic Agency points out that TTRPG is the marketplace. I get it. 30% seems kind of high. Oh, but I get it. I mean, it's that's much higher than if you just listed on DTRPG yourself. But I mean, like there's something like Itch and these other places, Lulu. They just don't do as much of. You don't have as much of the exposure, right? But it's kind of like you get to be in this certain playground, and just by making the move from Drive Through vanilla experience, where you're merged in with a million other things, to this more limited playground where you're going to get higher exposure, because presumably there's a lot less stuff in it. So someone who goes to 2D20 Worlds is going to see a much smaller selection than they just go to Drive Through. So your thing's going to potentially pop out more. I get it. Still, it's a lot. So Classic Agency mentions Conan, but actually they lost the rights to Conan, or they're losing it. So I don't know. I mean, that's going to be another interesting thing. They had Conan IP, but I've heard they've lost Conan IP. So I don't know where that stands. If you want to develop third-party content for Modifius Conan, I think you're out of luck, because Conan's going elsewhere. I don't know where, but it's gone. All right. Well, that was my side trek on that. Let's see what we've got going on here. There's someone's, I don't know if they're asking a question or offering a 5th edition Pathfinder 2 OSR conversion guide. I'm not going to go in there, but I'll give them an upvote. Let's see. What do we got? How to map a homebrew setting. No, thank you. Working on a vehicle. No, thank you. Feedback on scroll homebrew. That's for 5th edition, I'm guessing. So no thanks. Let's see what else we got. So far, not so good. Yep, sad trombone for Conan. Yeah, it'd be nice if, I mean, I don't know. I know actually it was Stochastic Agency who I chatted with, who I need to have come on. We were going to do something. I still have to read that article. But I talked to Stochastic Agency. We had a Zoom chat. Gosh, it's already been a month. Time just goes by too fast. And we talked about, he actually walked me through a little bit about Modifius. Maybe I need to have him come on to do a sell me on 2D20. It's definitely interesting, but I haven't read any of them yet. I need to do that. And I wonder, are there a lot of people who want to develop for 2D20? Modifius, it seems like there are these systems. Back in the day, I remember, and I'm not saying that nobody played them, but there are always these systems that I would see fairly well represented at the game store. But then you never talk to anybody. It was like, hey, do you play this game? And everyone just like, no. And like I remember seeing a lot of Torg, I think was one of them. I can still see the logo and everything, and I would see all this Torg stuff. But then I'd never run into anybody who played Torg. And I feel like the one for me currently are these Modifius 2D20s where online, I'll run into folks who maybe have played it, but for the most part, anybody I talk to, or I don't really seem to see it around. Um, it's like kind of like how many people are out there. It's like at PAX Unplugged. I go look at games. I don't see them around. I just don't see them. But obviously, people play them. Nightbot. Nightbot got nailed Michael Fraker for the caps. I didn't see the message, so repost it, Michael Fraker, without the caps. Oh wait, I saw it and it's gone. What is a good fantasy RPG to introduce to a 5-year-old? That seems interesting. Best way for the BBEG to find PCs? I don't know. Why don't we trust D&D Shorts? I don't know who that is. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Oh, we're talking. Let's see if this gives us something. Okay. This was posted to the Dungeon Masters subreddit. I took 61 random generators from their fantasy game, from my fantasy game. I'm just going to speak as the author here, including a 94 million fantasy race generation system, and made a free standalone tool for D&D players and DMs. So I just want to share. All right, so there's a itch. We'll put that in a new tab. There's 61 generators in total, though the most interesting ones, in their opinion, are the race generators. Here's some of the races generatable in the game. All right, let's go. First things first. Holy cow, the ASCII art. I'll post this in the chat. Michael Fraker loved Torg. Michael Fraker, maybe you can come on and explain Torg to me, because I've seen the books. I can picture the logo and the title in my brain, but it just was like just one of many systems. I was like, man, who's out there playing Torg? Like, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna download this. I'm not gonna pay at the moment, just so I don't have to go through all that stuff while I'm on stream. But I'll come back to it, and please, if you see this and you like it, please support the creator. Oh, it's a zip file. All right, well, and I put the link to the itch here. It's at huw2k8.itch.io/warsims warsims generator toolbox. All right, before I get this going, let's see. What do we got in here? Oh, so it's an application. Oh, okay. Oh, do I dare? Shall we watch my my computer implode from viruses? What kind of application is it? I thought this was like a PDF. I thought it was going to be a doc. Let's see what it says back here. Hold on a minute. All right. Oh, I should have looked at this. Okay, I should have looked at this closer. So it looks like here it is. This is what we're going to get. Pull the generators, get the full game on Steam. Oh, there's a game. Oh, I see. So, okay. Well, all right. So discovering as I go. Okay, so this is a game. So so I'm guessing there's a game, and the game is called Warsim: The Realm of Aslona. And there's a lot of procedural generation in there. And then I guess they pulled out those tools and created a generator toolbox. All right, so this should be really cool. The Castic Agency and Michael Fraker are having Torg talk, like a TED talk, but for Torg, in the chat. So if you're a fan of Torg, feel free to jump in. Maybe I'll have to. Does somebody let me know? Is there a Torg quick start? Because I would read it just because it's been something that I've burned into my brain that I remember seeing for ages in game shops and just never. Always like, what the heck's a Torg? All right, let's see. I'm gonna run this. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, hold on. I gotta extract it first. All right. As soon as I finish extracting this, if my computer goes kaput and I blue screen for a moment, then I'm gone, you'll know that this is Warsim's fault. You have my permission to find and destroy them. Well, okay, maybe not that, but I'd have to reboot presumably. All right, it's doing this. Let's see what other go through the generator. So we've got a hero name generator, a combat unit name generator, an independent kingdom name generator, a bandit group name generator, a flag generator, a phrase generator, a race generator with 94 million possible races, currency, weapon building, character generator, animal generator, monster generator, mask generator, 1,000 random names tool, a helmet generator, a bulk race generator. Oh my goodness. Quest generator, a single race generator, and a bandit troop graphic generator. And then they've got all kinds of ASCII face generators. And then there's War Sim, which I'll have to check out. I have to check out and see what that is. Maybe do that another time. All right, so let's see. Hold on. I'm going to my thing here. Here we go. Wish me luck. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Yeah, run it anyway, Windows. I'm putting my faith in the internet. It's always a horrible thing. Oh, look at that. Seems to be okay. All right, let me switch. Here we go. I'm going to. Where's my. Sorry, 1 second. Is this going to work? Yes, it is. Is that working? It's coming up as blank. Oh, no. What if I do that? One is that way. Actually, sorry, go back here. Oh, it's coming up as blank. For reals? No, that's not it. No, that's. Oh, what a bummer, because it's working, but it's not seeming to. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can do this in a different way. Is there a way to do this as a different thing? Window capture. Okay. Yeah, Windows Terminal. It's not doing it. That work? All right, never mind. Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. But I will. Let me just build. Let me build a single race. Let's just see what a single race looks like. Whoops. Switch windows here. Okay, so the single race generator. I got the translucent aeromancers. Pop level 40, population level 40, civilization level 6, highly civilized, higher than human level. They have they have units at the peasant tier. They have aeromancers at the soldier tier. Oh, they also have aeromancers. Okay, so they have novice, master, and just normal aeromancers. Known to be those who practice air magic, they are known to use their knowledge mostly passively, but occasionally aggressively. Its people have translucent skin and cannot be seen without great effort. That's cool. And I'll do one more because I know that this is exciting when you can't see what I'm seeing. And the next one, we get sparse ghouls. Civilization 1, they're unintelligent savages, and they have a population level of 15. I'm not sure what that means. And then you have their peasant tier units are sparse ghouls. Their soldier tier units are sparse ghoulish warriors. And then their knight tier units are sparse ghoulish knights. Known as the living dead, or at least those so near death they are mindless, these creatures are evil and aggressive. Its people are sparse in number for their lands and live in low populations. Very good. Well, this seems really cool. It did not destroy my computer. So that is a plus. So yeah, cool. Well, thanks to that, I will have to go in and check it out, and I will. Well, you can go to the page that I shared already if you want to check out what this game that seems kind of cool that came out of it. And here we are. You can see some of the ASCII art. I'm not sure if I find the ASCII art very useful. Some of these, it's a little bit hard to tell what's going on. Like this one, Count Eero the Boltman, hairless of the hairless mutants. Are those the eyes? Is that the nose? Mouth? That's all right. This one makes a little more sense. But it's kind of neat what they're doing. I'm wondering if this is a game that's kind of Dwarf Fortress-y and just in terms of kind of how it's doing everything. So it's kind of ASCII art based. Pretty cool. Nice work. Back it up. But it definitely works. The only thing that I would say I noticed from there might be tough is I don't know how you get so you're it's basically it's opening up a window, what would you like a DOS window, I forget, window, text entry, line entry window, and then it's doing everything, putting everything in that window. I'm guessing you can. I think with those kind of windows, you should just be able to copy and paste the text. But that might be the only tricky thing. I suppose you could take images or you could copy and paste, but it's all going to come out as plain text. There's you're not going to have any formatting on your end. I guess you can paste it into something like just your ASCII text notepad sort of app, and it'll keep the spacing in terms of the ASCII art, but not easy to grab out of there. You'd have to reformat stuff at least a little bit for different tools, but still, that's cool. All right, where are we going here? What is a better D20 system, 3.5 or 5? I would go 5 over 3.5, I guess. Really depends what you like. They did slim down some stuff from 3.5 to 5e. I guess if you want the ultimate in crunch, you go for 3.5. And you want all the character generation mini game that you can handle, but know that there are significant possibilities of dead ending by making wrong choices. And granted, you can always give yourselves house rules to say if you end up in a spot where something is no longer useful, then you can retcon yourself into taking something else or level up, change, whatever. But I would say fifth edition has kind of smoothed a lot of the harder edges. But some people like that extra stuff. Okay, Giant Web and Black Eyed Children Part 1. That's a folklore thing. I'm okay on that. Noob DM in need of help. If you're a new DM in need of help, please ask for help. But I would also say, please be specific as you can with your questions. Now, I know some questions you may not know the rabbit holes that lay beyond the question, but you get stuff like, "Oh, I'm a new DM running my first game. What can you tell me?" Like, there's nothing I can tell you. Nothing I can tell you at all. I mean, I can tell you things, but there's not one thing I can tell you that, "Oh, okay, now you've told me this thing," and I mean, there's an endless number. I mean, how many videos do I have on DM type topics? How many videos does everybody have on DM topics? And granted, there's going to be some overlap, but I mean, there's an endless amount of topics, an endless amount of things where you can make decisions to come up with your own style, like all this kind of stuff. And when you're just starting out, there's no one thing. I mean, the only thing I could really tell somebody, if it really is the one thing, is just relax, know you're going to make mistakes and have fun. I mean, that's basically it. So I encourage folks, if you have questions, ask me, go to Reddit, everything. But just if you have a problem with a thing or something is you're looking at it and it's not making sense to you, whatever, it's like just, oh, my cat's about to vomit. Bruce, get off the bed. Ugh. Sorry about that. My cat was literally about to vomit on the sheets. Sorry, Bruce. Ian says I also need another mod. Well, I got Krister. Ian, are you volunteering for mod status? Yes, I could use some mods, and I could use a napkin. I'll get to that later. Krister is a mod when he's around, but someone else who wants to take on the responsibility for the amazing pay of 0 to be a mod for these streams, who's mostly here more often than not, reach out. I'm happy to modify you. All right, Ian. I'll work it out with you afterwards. I appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you in advance for your service. And yeah, I'll deal with the cat vomit after we're done. All right. Let's see. What do we have? Gosh, I'm not finding the Reddit. One thing with the multi-Reddit is it gives me a lot more content, but also means there's a lot more filtering. How can I stop caring about edition? I don't know, man. Do you care? I mean, I guess I'm just in a weird spot. I don't care about. Here's the thing. Let me just say this: you don't have to stop playing 5th edition. Okay, if you've bought all the books, all these campaign books, all these source books, everything in 5th edition, just keep using them. Wizards isn't going to come take them away. The changing of the OGL doesn't do anything to you. Now, I feel for you if all your books are locked into D&D Beyond, and so you're stuck with either continually giving them money or losing your books. That, as a problem I can appreciate. But if you've bought the books, you have them, you just got a stack of hardcovers and you got character sheets and everything else, just play the game. You can stop supporting Hasbro and Wizards and still play the game that you love if that game is 5th edition. You do not need to move on to other games, stop caring, do all that stuff. Just stop giving them money. Stop giving them money. That's all you got to do. And there's so much content. And look, this is before you get into all the content for other games that you can convert to 5th edition, making your own content. With just the core books, you can play your whole lifetime and play 5th edition and never have to give them any more money than you gave them 10 years ago when you bought those first core books. Everything else is just a little bit of gravy. You don't need them. They don't, whatever. Maybe they fix the game and fix in quotes little bits here and there, but you don't need them. Just keep playing the game. You don't need to. You don't need to jump off. And you don't need to do anything really. But if you want to, if you don't want to support them anymore, just stop buying the books. But feel free to keep playing 5th edition. Absolutely nothing wrong with continuing to play the game. I still use my ready reference sheets, even though I don't want to give those guys. Well, I don't even know how you. I think they've all their storefronts have closed. So the Bloodsaw Juniors and of the world who have rights to the Judges Guild stuff, I don't talk about them on the channel because I don't want people to give them money. But I still use the books. I've got them. I mean, I got mine from eBay. So none of that money, they didn't see any of that money since when that book was published. But the point is you got things, use them. Use them as much as you feel comfortable using, right? No one can and will take them away from you. And if somebody does try to take them away from you, call the cops. Why are they breaking into your house or trying to rip your book out of your hands? Stochastic Agency says, just ask the neckbeards about using the same books. Yeah, I mean, there have been people who've been playing 1st edition or BX or whatever since those books came out. You don't need to move on. And there's a weird thing, I think, with this idea that you have to, you gotta move on. Like, no, you bought it, you invested a bunch of money and time and everything in books and campaign. You do not need to move on. Just stop giving them money. Just stop buying new books. I mean, you don't even have to do that. It's take it as far as you feel. And there's plenty of third-party stuff that's still under the OGL you can still get now that is still working, and you can do that if you want to support creators and you want stuff, but you don't want to give it to Hasbro. Oh, Michael Fraker says, I'm forgetting about the auto-destruct bombs that have been secretly placed in each book. Yeah, that would be the next thing, right? Kind of e-ink, some kind of e-ink books where the books can just delete themselves and you're left with just blank pages. If they haven't developed something along those lines and it's in some kind of alpha testing, they will. Though I will say, like this is this is an interesting case because this is the first time I can really think about where this issue has come up, which puts people's adoption of digital assets, I guess, into question because digital D&D Beyond. Oh, I love having books and I love having the information. I don't need to carry around a bunch of big hardcover books, blah blah blah. I've got it all on D&D Beyond. And then something comes up, and now you think I don't want to support D&D Beyond anymore. But I bought these things, and now it is revealed to me in a way that maybe I knew it intellectually before, but now I know it that I was renting books. So I was paying $35 or whatever I spent on this digital book to rent it from this front, and now they're pulling it back on me. Kind of, what do I do? And then, and for me, like I use all kinds of streaming stuff, but there are movies I love. I just got it in yesterday was the 4K Blu-ray release of Escape from New York. And the thing is what happens if I lose my internet for a day and I want something to watch? What happens if I go to somebody's house? What happens if I decide I hate Amazon and I don't want to do Prime or Netflix or whichever ones and I cut them all off? Always I'll have that disc. As long as my player works, I can have that disc. And presumably I could burn that disc into a file so I could play that file on whatever device, but it's mine. Whatever they say about renting it, I have this physical thing that's mine. And as far as I can remember, I haven't really been aware of a case where we had this similar kind of thing where people who may have invested fairly heavily into these digital assets are now hit with that question of what do I do when I think something I bought on this platform that not because the platform's going out of a business, not because the platform has been replaced by some other thing. It's just that I no longer want to do business with this platform. So what do I do? So I'm curious to see how it's going to go with people, not only just now, but how people are going to think about it once they've gone through it this time. How are they going to think about it in the long term for the next time? Because this is going to happen again. There are other people are going to have digital things, and they're going to want to have these similar kind of control. Like this is not the first or last time it's going to happen with D&D or with something else. So it's really, to me, it's a very interesting use case, or I don't know if use case is the right word. Whatever, interesting situation that we're in. I don't recall happening before. Ah, we got some got some Escape from New York. Heck yeah, call me Snake. Exactly. Ian says at least Hasbro doesn't make the Kindle. That's true. But the Kindle stuff, at least you can still read on your desktop and whatever. But yes, I mean it is similar to Kindle in terms of your books. Um, I don't know why I said the desktop thing because right, D&D Beyond, I was thinking always on your laptop, but yeah, Kindle versus whatever. But yes, the thing still goes is like what happens when your Kindle subscription goes away, all those books you bought. Similar thing though. I guess the difference with the Kindle would only be if those books are more or less one time reads, right? You read it once and then you're kind of done with it. Whereas the nature of game books is you're consistently referencing them. It's you buy that PHB, you don't just read it once and throw it away. You buy that PHB and you're going to keep referencing it. So it's a whole different, and I guess it's a different level of attachment to the thing, which is different than a Kindle, I would guess. Though I have a few things on the Kindle, but not too many. And they're usually things that I had already. Like I have the Tolkien books on the Kindle, and it's great to be able to search them digitally. If you're looking for a reference in Lord of the Rings, you can just search and find it. But I've got the books. So if Kindle, my Amazon burns down in flames tomorrow, I didn't lose the book. I just had bought it as an additional thing. Oh, it looks like I got. Hold on a minute. Did I get frozen? I'm frozen. All right. Hold on a second. Let me defreeze myself. How do I defreeze myself? Why am I defreezing myself? I'm fine. Terrence says I'm fine. I'm showing up as frozen. Terrence says I'm fine. I don't think I am fine, Terrence. And the thing is it's not showing any of my scrolling. All right, hold on. What is it doing this? Hold on a minute. Let me stop this for a second. Let me see what's happening. Let me exit. I'm going to exit OBS. Yep, now it is frozen. I was just ahead of the game slightly. Apologies. 1,000 apologies. Let me see if I can share something. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can share my screen. Oh boy, everything is going wonky on me. Everything's going wonky on me now. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Express a screen. There we go. Yeah, I know. Is it going? Why? There we go. Okay. Now I'll maneuver you. Who's there? I actually don't even need my. I can hide. You don't